This is Camp 30, or also known as the Bowmanville Prisoner of War Camp, a former boys' school that 14 years after its reconstruction in the 1920s was rapidly turned into a prisoner of war camp during World War I for German prisoners of that conflict. It's unique to think that here in Canada such a facility existed, but here we are. A significant structure in World War history lies here on the outskirts of Toronto and is free to visit as it is now a National Historic Site. I'm not here to go inside this building, even though there is a bit of a breach of the protection against such trespass, but I'm here to respect the grounds as they are. It also looks pretty treacherous in there, I will admit. It's not the most exciting inside this building, which looks like was probably one of the primary prison buildings. There are several buildings scattered throughout this site, and they're actually relatively well maintained, all things taken in consideration, given that they are approaching about 100 years old, at least the original buildings. So this is still an active site, as you do have a garden set up here, a pumpkin patch. Looks like they might be having events here coming in the next couple of days, because it's that time of year. Overall, this site comprises about a half dozen buildings, none of which you legally can access. but you can come to the site and check it out. Unfortunately, none of the guard towers seem to be still intact, which would make sense because they would probably be climbed by visitors here anyway. But there are definitely some cool sight lines and photo opportunities to grab here if you are interested in such a thing. It's the most interestingly designed building of this compound, I would say. The final building I'm looking at here, I believe, was probably the mess hall, a cafeteria, and it's blocked off. It's probably seen some intrusion. This might be the original building from what it looks like as well, especially considering that the roof is somewhat slanted in areas. Property under video surveillance. Not really sure from where. Construction site, so maybe there's some news to come from this particular location, and if anything develops, we'll certainly let you know. My first visit to Bowmanville, and there's certainly some curiosities in this town and history I wasn't aware of, including this key site in the national history of Canada and the world, here the Bowmanville Prisoner of War Camp, also known as Camp 30. Very fascinating. I would definitely recommend, if you're in the area or even just on the 401 passing through and are interested in historical sites like this, it's definitely worth checking out. There's people just kind of like enjoying the grounds. It definitely feels like a public space. It must be still owned by the Crown, as you know, people are walking around with their dogs and some biking and stuff like that. But it is on the outskirts of town, so there's not much activity out here. You're definitely kind of in farm areas or on the cusp of farmland. Not that that matters, it's preserved, it's definitely well worth a visit, and I'm glad I've come to do it for the first time. Shocked I didn't know about it before. Hopefully we'll see some progress with this site in the future. Maybe it can be developed into something more significant and preserved for future generations. So we'll keep an eye out on that, because it looks like something is going to happen here in the near future. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this miniature little vlog touring the grounds of Camp 30, and as always, thank you for dropping in.